I'm Steve Capel, one of the captains of the Josiah White II, our canal boat here at Humor Park on the D&L. And behind me are our two engines, Hank and George, our mules. Mules have been pulling canal boats since 1829 when this canal opened. They are the only source of power for a canal boat. There's no motor, no sail, no hidden track under the water. Now our guys, Hank and George, have been with us for about 15 years. Hank, who you'll meet in a little bit, is the older mule. He's 20 years old. And when you come to the park, you'll be able to tell which one is Hank because he has a notch in his right ear and he has a white spot on his left shoulder. George is a little bit younger, about 17 years old. They came to us as a pair. They've been together most of their lives. This is George. George, when the mules are in harness, is the one in the lead. You can always tell that it's George in front. George is very laid back. Nothing seems to bother him. So he just walks along very calm, very collected, and very placid. And over there snuggling with Miss Pam, well, that's Hank. Hank is our biggest mule. He's a strong mule too. Now we feed them carrots, not as part of their regular diet, but as a treat. Mules like you and me like to have something sweet every once in a while. But normally we feed them a combination of grain and oats and a little bit of salt, and it keeps them healthy and happy, which is what we want for our mules. Now, Hank and George are not related, even though they look alike. They had the same kind of horse as a mother, a Percheron draft horse. And that's why they look the same, because of their mother. Now, all mules are the result of the mating between a female horse and a male donkey. It is the only way you can make a mule. You get an animal that has the size, the strength, and the musculature of its mother, the horse. And you need a big, strong animal to pull a canal boat. That's why we have Percheron draft horses as mothers. They're used to pulling heavy loads. But from the father, the donkey, you get the things that really make a mule a mule. Number one, you get stamina. Mules are incredible animals. They can pull a 120-ton loaded canal boat for 18 hours a day. Now, one of the things that makes mules so wonderful for pulling a canal boat is that they know how to pace themselves. A mule would come out of the barn first thing in the morning, around 3:30 a.m., walking at about 2 miles an hour, a very slow, easy pace. You would hook them to the boat with the tow line. They would be standing on the tow path waiting for the command to go. And when the canal opened and boats started moving, those mules pulled that boat at 2 miles an hour. At that pace, they could work for an 18-hour workday without exhausting or injuring themselves. People often ask us, why don't we use horses? And there are a lot of reasons why mules are the superior engine for a canal boat. A horse, when it comes out of the barn, is ready to go. It doesn't have any sense of pacing. It'll just start pulling as hard as it can and as fast as it can. And pretty soon, it will exhaust itself. You'd have to be changing horses constantly to have them pull a canal boat. Mules, they just walk slow and steady, and they get the job done. Another thing about mules, they have an incredible sense of self-preservation. A mule can never be overworked. If a mule is hungry or thirsty, if it's ill or injured, if there's something along the towpath that bothers it, those mules will stop. And you can move heaven and earth before you can get those mules to move again. It's one of the reasons there were always human beings walking with the mules. It wasn't to tell them their jobs. They learn their jobs quickly. They're very intelligent. The human beings are there to solve any problem that the mules can't solve themselves. And there's another big difference between horses and mules. On a hot, sunny day, 2 horses pulling a canal boat might be tempted to stop, to get a drink out of the canal, even to get into the canal to cool off. Well, because of momentum, the buoyancy of the boat that allows it to move easily, that boat would keep on moving even if the horses stopped. And with their heavy harnesses, they would quickly be dragged into the canal and drowned. But a mule will never go near the canal because mules don't like water. Oh, they like to drink it, and they certainly like to get sprayed with the hose. But when a mule looks at that canal, he doesn't know how deep it is. All he sees is a reflective surface. And because they are so sure-footed, a trait that they get from their father, the donkey, a mule will never put a foot anywhere where it doesn't know exactly what it's stepping on. So they don't know if the canal is water or ice. They don't know if it's over their hooves or over their heads. So it's better safe than sorry for the mule, and they'll just never go near getting into the canal. In fact, when it rains along the towpath, Hank and George will walk around puddles rather than walk through them, mainly because they don't know how deep they are. All in all, a good strong mule can pull a canal boat better than any other animal on earth. Now you might worry about mules pulling a heavy canal boat. A boat loaded with coal when this canal was in business weighed about 120 tons. Not hard work for the mules, but perhaps a captain wanted to go faster. Perhaps he just wanted to see the boat go as fast as possible. Well, there are a few ways to protect the mules on this canal. Number one, there was a speed limit. You were timed from one lock to another, and if you went faster than 3 or 4 miles an hour, the captain got fined, and it was big money. The other rule they had on this canal was that no matter if you owned your own canal boat or if you leased one from the canal company, you had to own your own mules. This was a rule instituted by one of the founders of this canal, Josiah White. He was a Quaker, and he believed in the kind and humane treatment of animals. He knew that if a canal boat captain could just rent his mules, that he wouldn't take proper care of them. He'd overwork them, he'd underfeed them. He wouldn't give them the medical attention or the food that they might need, and the rest that they definitely need. So to prevent all of that, Mr. Josiah White instituted the rule that you had to own your own mules, and you could buy them from the canal company. If you owned your own mules, even the most unscrupulous captain would be forced to take care of them. He couldn't trade them in after he worked them too hard and they were injured or ill. He had to take care of his mules because they were owned by him, and it cost a lot of money to replace them. Mules on this canal were very well taken care of because without a mule, the canal boat doesn't go.